Good evening. Thank you for joining me here on the Royal House of Ra. I am your host, Amenhotep Khufu El Ra, and today's show is episode 2, in which I will be breaking down the royal coat of arms, basically the coat of arms of the Royal House of Ra, and I will break it down when you understand the symbols that represents the royal house and what these symbols mean in the coat of arms. So we're gonna, so we can break that down to you, you understand, and excuse me, and we can move forward from there. Now, last week on Sunday, the first show aired, which was episode 1, which was the introduction to the Royal House of Ra channel, which that was explaining what the channel is about and what we will be discussing, rules and other stuff that was broke down in order to explain what the show is about. Uh, Also, we um, later on today, close to the end of the show, I would let you know when the next show would air. Either it's going to air live or it's going to be pre-recorded. Most likely it's going to be live. Okay, so excuse me. What I'm uh what I before I begin the show, what I want to say is I like to thank the support for people who supported the show its first airing. A lot of people gave support to the show. A lot of people subscribed. Some written comments, others liked the shows, others shared it. So I ask that all of you today who's looking at the show this evening, please subscribe to the show, like the show, share it, and also hit the notification button so you know when a new upcoming episode will appear. All right. So once again, thank you for all those within the Kemetic community and those who's not in the Kemetic community. Thank you for supporting the show, and thank you supporting the Royal House of Ra. So, further ado, let's begin with the breakdown of the coat of arms, so you understand what it's about. And also, after I finish breaking down the coat of arms, what I'm also going to do is read a letter that's from the African View organization in which I have written this letter. So I'm reading you a copy of the letter that I've written to them I would say about 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard from them yet. Hopefully I'll hear from them soon. Okay, so let's begin with the coat of arms. Excuse me, I'm gonna show you. This is the coat of arms of the Royal House of Ra, which represents the dynastic house of Ra. Okay, so um, let's go into this. Okay, the coat of arms of the Royal House of Ra. How the coat of arms should be organized as follows. The sash, in which the joint crowns of lower and upper Kemet rest on, should be blue with gold. This is the blue sash here. And then you have the gold trims that you see here, right? And then you have the joint crowns of upper and lower Kemet that rest upon the sash here. Okay, so the blue signifies loyalty, chastity, truth, strength, and faith. The gold trim signifies wisdom, generosity, glory, consistency, and prudence. The, the inner white of the sash, okay, this is the inner white of the sash right here, the white that you see with inside, okay? The inner white of the sash signifies truth, sincerity, peace, innocence, and purity. Then the symbol of Ra, the falcon with the sun disk, should be above the joint crowns of lower and upper Kemet. This image of Ra represents the spiritual connection to Ra and the authority of Ra bestowed upon the royal house of Ra to govern under his divine authority on earth. So this is the image of Ra right here, which is above the joint crowns of upper and lower Kemet. Okay. All right. Now let's below it will be the joint crowns of ancient Kemet, which represents royal authority. Okay, so this is what the joint crowns mean in this coat of arms. Okay, below the crown will be the cartouche of Pharaoh Ramesses III of the 20th dynasty, in which I am a descendant of, and it represents the royal bloodline lineage between Pharaoh Ramesses III and the royal house of Ra. So this is the cartouche right here of Ramses III. So now you know what this cartouche represents, okay? And the meaning behind it. All right, now underneath the cartouche will be the croc and Pharaoh, which is crossed over each other, centered on top of the throne, which represents royal authority. So this is the image of the croc and Pharaoh, which rests on top of the throne, centered. Okay, so you know what this means, this symbol stands for. Okay, now the throne is placed in the center, representing the royal authority of the king and queen. So this is the throne right here. And you know what that symbol means in the coat of arms. The image of the king and queen will be placed on the side of the throne, representing united rulership between the king and queen. So this is the king right here, the queen right here. So you know what these two symbols mean. Okay, now let's go on to the next. Okay, and beside the king and queen are the two palm axes, one that's on the side of the king and the other one on the side of the queen. So now you know what that stands for, what it symbolizes in this coat of arms. Underneath the throne in Medu Neter reads as follows: beautiful as king, like Atum, he is loved and wished for like the majesty of Ra. This inscription is placed in a blue banner. So that inscription is right here in the blue banner. So that's what that inscription means. Okay. So now you have a clear understanding what the coat of arms means that represents the royal house of Ra. Okay, so now you understand what that means. Also, what I want to share with you is the explanation of the coat of arms, which I was reading from here. Okay, so this is a complete breakdown what the coat of arms means, what the symbols mean in the coat of arms here. Okay, now I did mention before I go any further, let me just say once again, thank you all for your support. I really thank you all, and I ask of you to continue your support of this channel, the Royal House of Ra. And As I stated before, please subscribe, share, like, and hit the notification button so you know when the next episode appears. Okay? Once again, I'd like to say thank you for that. Okay, now, as I did mention that I'm going to read a letter that I have written and sent to the African View organization. Um, is headquartered in New York, and they also have locations in Ghana, Africa. Excuse me. This organization is a very good organization. This organization is an organization that represents traditional rulers. For those of you who don't know what traditional rulers are, these are kings and queens and chieftains, basically African monarchs, traditional rulers. That's what they are, African monarchs. And they rule uh, various kingdoms in um, certain African countries. Like, for example, Nigeria, they have a couple of kingdoms. They have some in the northern region, which is ruled by a sultanate. Then you have some in the further south, and then you have some in Ghana, Burkina Faso, and other sovereign states on the African continent who have traditional rulers and kingdoms. Like, for example, in Uganda, you have the kingdom of Uganda. And so you have various kingdoms, and then you have kingdoms um, that are governing. Like, for example, there's 3 monarchies in Africa as we speak. 3 sovereign nations that are ruled by monarchs. Those nations are Morocco, which is the Kingdom of Morocco. Then you have the Kingdom of Iswani, and then you have the Kingdom of Lesotho. These are the only 3 ruling monarchies that's in Africa. The rest of them are traditional rulers. Um, so what I'm going to do is read the letter here that I had written to them. And not before I read that, they also do a lot of things, not just do things on the traditional level. They come, they build a bridge between the traditional rulers and the government, and they work on towards building economic empowerment, providing security, development in Africa for the future generations of the young generation of Africa, and to build a bridge between tradition and modernization, and to work with um, foreign investment, to bring foreign investment into the continent so the continent can prosper. So they do a lot of tremendous work. And this organization is the African View organization. So let me read the letter that I sent to them. Okay. Yes. I stated, Dear Sir or Madam, to whom this letter may concern. Your organization represents the true values of African culture and traditions. African cultural and traditions must be maintained for present and future generations. We as Africans must do all we can to maintain our cultural and traditional institutions of leadership. At this important time in Africa's history, traditional rulers can play an important role in today's Africa. I am glad to see the tremendous role the traditional rulers participate in African society. I am so excited to be able to communicate with your organization. I am a descendant of Pharaoh Ramesses III of the 20th dynasty of ancient Kemet. Also, DNA test was done to prove my relations to my great ancestor Pharaoh Ramesses III. As his descendant and head of the royal house of Ra, I am seeking recognition of my royal house and for the descendants of Pharaoh Ramesses III. The great dynasties of ancient Kemet played a significant role in African history which should be acknowledged and recognized through current descendants. I look forward in conducting future correspondence with your organization. Thank you in advance, and God bless. So that's the letter I had written to them. I'm going to show you that letter. This is the letter here. Okay. So as I stated before, in the Kemetic community, I wish people in the Kemetic community, let's work together. Let's work together as a unit. Let's bring Kemet alive in today's reality. Let's follow the principles of Kemet, the teachings, the spirituality, the um, historical knowledge that our ancestors have left. And we can build a new and greater Kemet, but it is up to us to move forward in that directive. Now, on Sunday, January 2nd, I would have episode 3, which would be about the Kemet's imperial, royal, and nobility titles. So I would read about, excuse me, the royal and imperial and royal titles, the rules and regulations of the royal house, the staff and duties of the royal house. Also, let me give you a quick rundown. So I go over the royal titles, what they mean, then go over the rules and regulations that govern the royal house. Also, go over the various positions and duties of the house. I also go over Kemet's orders and decorations, the medals, the decorations that members of the royal family and the military would have. Okay, and I'm actually really want to develop a sovereign nation. There is land on the continent. This land is there's actually two territories. One is the Halab Triangle, which is between Egypt and Sudan. Egypt administered the Halab Triangle, but it is not annexed to Egypt. There's a long story behind that, and there's international laws with that. Um, Egypt doesn't govern it, so I would like to organize where we can make a sovereign state, make another sovereign nation there in on the continent. And also you have Bertawi, which is inside of Sudan, but no one claims that territory. So that can be part of that Kemet, the kingdom, United Kingdom of Kemet. So I would like to organize an organization with like mind and people who understand international law, understand the sovereignty laws of the UN, and also understand sovereignty laws with the AU. It's important that you reach out to these people. We need to start building something now. And the citizenry I'm looking for is Nubians, the Nubians who reside in southern Egypt and who reside in northern Sudan and who reside in the Nubian Hill. And also looking towards to cultivate African Americans as part of this citizenry. So to create this great nation of Kemet. So I think this can happen. I think this can be a reality. Um, and I think we should move forward to this. Let's have talks and discussions about this, and let's move forward. And also in this channel, I want to discuss, have historical discussions about Kemet and what those historical history and lineage can be utilized in today's society. Um, Hey, thank you, Meja of Rob. Thank you for joining into the show. I wish you was here earlier. The show is almost over, but no problem. You can always look back to the show. But thank you for your support. I thank you for that, and please continue to support the show. Um, so I want to go into, and I also want to have some meaningful debates on Kemet, but we must have it civil debate with civil discourse, and so we can have a natural debate and ask people to come in with information. Once again, the next show, episode 3, would be about the um, Kemet's imperial, royal, and nobility titles and orders and decorations. So we're going to break that down to you so you understand that. And that would air on January 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So remember that. Um, Once again, I'd like to thank everyone. Please subscribe to the show, share it, like, and hit that notification button so you know when the next show will appear. Once again, I really, I really enjoy this because I really enjoy things about Kemet, and I really want people to feel comfortable talking about Kemet, and we can learn from each other. So let's make this a great show, and I want to make this the greatest show, and I really want my people who subscribe, people who support the show to be part of the show, be a part. Don't be like, 'cause some shows they just love to, the host likes to talk about, they have good content, but they sometimes get a little bit off. So I really want to focus on this and let people know that I really appreciate you, and I'm going to do with the help of my supporters. Once again, thank you. I am your host, Amenhotep Khufu El Ra. Have a blessed evening, and I look forward to seeing you on January 2nd. Take care, and God bless.